What's up, guys? Welcome back to what I've decided to call the Sisu van build. Last time we went over the vision and the why, and this time we're going to be cutting the roof. Alright, so the first step is to remove the headliner, which you can see I already got pulled out over here. It's a pretty straightforward job. All you're going to do is pull out all of these plastic clips. There's 20 or 30 of them carrying it to the actual metal roof. So pull all those out with a pair of pliers or needle nose, and then you just untuck it from the plastic trim in a few different spots, kind of collapse it in the center and pull it out. If you have any wiring like I did here for the rear brake light that was actually glued to the headliner, I just ripped it out, and I'll have to route this cable up in one of the corners in here when I get finished with the actual topper build. Okay, next we're going to want to take all the cross braces out. There's a couple bolts on each side. I already have them all removed. And there's got this adhesive foam that's coupling it to the roof. It's really strong and hard to actually break. So what I did is I just bent the cross members out of the way, and when I cut away the roof, these will all just go with it. So that's my plan. So looking at how these vans are structurally built, I'm trying to plan where I want to make my cuts before I go ahead and build the topper. And the most structural thing in here is these gussets. It's basically two spot welded pieces of sheet metal that forms a really strong structural point all around the perimeter. So what I think I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to leave that intact, but I'm thinking about where I'm going to make this cut line. So I'm actually going to follow this line all the way around. But then actually when I was playing with this, the sheet metal, when it comes down like this, once I remove these screws, it actually, there's about a 1-inch gap right here. But when you pull it down, it closes that gap. And what I'm actually going to do is screw the existing sheet metal roof into the structural member. There's a nice flange here, and there's a nice flat spot right here. So what I think I'm going to do before I make my cuts is I'm going to come in through the top and actually attach these two, close that gap so that I have a hard solid point on the outside, because I don't really want to attach to anything up here because it's going to be loose and flopping around. But if I can close this gap and make that structural, or attach it to this structural member, I'm going to have a really hard surface there as a footing basically for my topper. So it's really flexible with the struts out of here. So I think that's going to be a good plan forward. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to screw it all down before I cut it, and then just use this trim line, this edge here as a trim line all the way around, and cut it from the inside out. So that's the plan anyways. We'll see how it turns out. All right, here we go. I just got a couple of short self-tapping sheet metal screws. I had a mark here somewhere, and we're just going to see if we can attach it to that structural gusset on the inside. So I'm on the roof here, and the whole thing's starting to cave in, but that's actually good because what we're trying to do is close that gap on the inside. So just putting my weight over this thing, hopefully that'll close the gap enough. If I put my weight right here, screw it in, don't know if that's going to be enough. So it looks like I'm just not over far enough. It's going to be a little experimentation here, trying to find the right spot. Wish I could come in right here. Maybe this would be better after the fact. So I'm trying to come in at the top of these ribs now. Let's see what that does. Okay, so there's definitely a gusset there. I can feel it underneath. Alright, I think that did it. So now that's pinning the roof to this gusset underneath. We'll go look at it from the inside. Basically, what we did here, that's exactly where we wanted it. It's attached to that flange. So if we do that all the way around, it's going to give us a nice strong surface to mount our topper onto. So I'm going to just go around and space these screws roughly 6 to 8 inches. I might space it out about a foot all the way around just to hold that sheet metal in place and provide a nice flat mounting surface. So here's what it looks like from the inside. That's exactly the flange that I was shooting for. Is just this flat thing all the way around. We were able to successfully close that gap, which is exactly what I wanted. Then when I make this cut, I'm going to cut it right along that flange, and we'll have a really strong starting point. Okay, so we got it screwed down all the way around. About every 8 inches or so, we tried to secure it to that inner flange. A couple misses here and there, not a big deal. The roof's getting cut off. Plus my seal line is going to be way farther on the outside, so all that will be covered. It's not a big deal. Across the back there, had to flatten it out a little bit. We removed that rear tail light. Yeah, so far so good. All right, it's time to start cutting. Once we start cutting, there's no going back. Got a grinder with cutoff wheel here and a hacksaw. My thinking is I'm going to get the cut started with the cutoff wheel and then finish up with the hacksaw unless it's not going as planned, and then I'll just finish it with the cutoff wheel. Planning on just following this gusset line all the way around, and then I will polish it down with a grinder afterwards to smooth out the edges. I'm going to have to bend these things out of the way just so I can get in there, but shouldn't be too bad. See which one cuts better. Clear winner for sure.
This one?
Way quicker. Zip, zip.
There too.
All right, kind of like I thought, it only took about 20 minutes to cut this whole outline out. I left 3 or 4 spots where I just gotta figure out the best way to get this thing off now without it dropping on me. It's pretty light, so I'm not too worried about it. Let's get this roof off of here. Just a few small cuts to make, and then we'll pull it right off. A big sunroof. Ow! God damn. Don't do that. There we go. We got our big old skylight cut out. Feels good. All right, now we're just gonna take a little sanding wheel like this on a grinder, go around, clean up all these edges, get rid of all the sharpness, spurs, clean it up a little bit so we don't cut ourselves. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date with this build. Next time, we're going to be building the foundation, and you definitely don't want to miss that.